Jai Kal Bhairav, Jai Ma Kali. Welcome all to the second upload on Shakti Upasana's channel. This is sort of a part 2 of the first audio. Lot more people watched it. I wasn't expecting this many people to watch a black video with just an audio to it. So I decided to do a follow-up. This particular picture is drawn by my lovely sister, and you can see Ma in a full form in this. At the same, she's doing the destruction for the world, recreating the world, but at the same time has that beautiful divine smile and those lovely eyes, and then she's right there for you, waiting for you. So that's a good start. So on the focus of the mantra, our minds are always chattering away. There is at no point in our life, except for sometimes in sleeping, our mind is not talking. Our mind is constantly talking. So don't be in the misunderstanding that when you close your eyes and start doing mantra jap is when your mind is roaming around. It's always roaming around. Sometimes it does it more when we sit and do something which is we're not used to do. But that's the nature of the mind. You have to flow with it. Don't resist. Try to fight the mind. In Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna says that every time the mind floats away, you have to bring it back. And if you do it forcefully in the beginning, and in general, your mind will rebel. So you don't want to rebel, you want to flow with it. That's the whole point of the whole thing, is that you flow with it, and you become dispassionate to the thoughts. And that's a deeper topic. But understand that your mind is always doing the chattering away. So one of the tricks I've done, so this channel is about how to do all this in a real life, right? In a practical sense, in day-to-day life. How do we move forward in our spiritual path? How do we get close to Mother Divine? How do we get into Shakti Upasana? So during the day, now from today, tomorrow, Navratri starts, as long as you can, start being aware of what you're thinking. So one of the things I do is that suddenly if I have wild thoughts coming to my mind, as you go deeper into your sadhanas, it gets less and less. You're less swayed by emotions, and you're much more in control of your emotions. So when you suddenly get anger, when your mind is distracted and so on, suddenly ask yourself, hello, who's talking? Who is this? The thing is, your mind only has power when it's operating under disguise. It's operating as an invisible entity. It's off the radar. The second you put a spotlight on your mind suddenly stops and is shocked. It's like putting a spotlight on a thief walking into the house, and suddenly he looks at the flashlight. Oh, I'm caught. That's what mind is. And the more you repeatedly do it, the more your mind understands that, oh, okay, I'm going to get caught. And it stops, right? One of the basic, simple hacks you can do. So every time your mind, whether that's in dhyanam or you're doing anything else, ask your mind suddenly, hello, who is this? Who's talking? Who is this? And you keep inquiring that, your mind suddenly stops, even if it's for a few seconds, and then you can regain your composure. Whether you're trying to get angry, sad, or whatever, you can regain your composure. This needs practice. It needs also the awareness that you need to ask yourself that question. But that is on you. You have to train this into your mind. And then there are numerous, probably, Bhairava Tantra, Bhairava Vigyan Tantra, which is basically a book of Bhagavan Shiv in his Bhairava form, teaching Bhairavi the different dhyana techniques. So in that thing, it talks about, there are so many techniques, right? Focusing on third eye, focusing on your breath. Your mind operates a space between your mind and your stomach, so to speak. So when you breathe in, imagine your mind is in the center of your heart, and you breathe in. If you stop your breath or you hold your breath, right, your mind suddenly stops within a few seconds, because the next thought your mind has is, when can I get my next breath? Right? That is one technique to do when your mind is extremely it's just moving around too much. That's one yoga technique. It's written in the Bhairava Vigyan Tantra. It's a technique that you can do. There's so many techniques you can do, but you need to have the self-awareness to do it. You can try and hold your breath, or keep your breath in, or not breathe when you're doing mantra jap, and suddenly your mind is back on track. The spotlight is shown on it because your mind needs to have that breath. Your mind is between, imagine this, your mind is between the space and earth, and in the middle is your mind. And the air is the power of the mind. The second you stop the air, it stops. That's why when we are dying, the last few breaths are the deepest, and poof, the last breath, it's gone, you're dead. Your mind your conscious mind operates in that. These are deeper topics. So that is one technique to do. In the comment section I mentioned you could do, there's so many techniques, each to his own. There's no one technique that'll work. You have to test the different things. You can do on a 3-point focus. You can focus on your breath and on the mantra that you're chanting, whispering to yourself, and the japamala you're using, if you're using a japamala. If not, you can open your eyes and focus on the tip of your nose, which takes a little more hard work. It'll hurt your eye in the beginning. You can focus on your tip of your nose and do a mantra jap. If you are chanting one of the slokas that we mentioned, when you're chanting it, when you're doing the mantra jap, constantly evaluate where your mind is. What am I doing? Who's talking? As when you read Sarva Mangala Mangalye Shive Sarvartha Sadhike, and suddenly your mind is somewhere else, you ask yourself, what am I doing right now? Oh, I'm doing this. If you constantly ask yourself, even during mantra jap, what am I doing right now? What am I doing right now? Then your mind suddenly says, oh, you're doing mantra jap. Oh, you're chanting. That is a technique to start to make your mind align to what you want to do. It takes a lot of practice. Sometimes it takes a little practice, sometimes it takes a lot of practice. But you have never trained your body, never trained your mind to do the things you want to do. It's natural. It takes a while. And all sadhanas, all upasanas, the core of that is to disconnect from the mind, basically the thoughts that you have, the constant thoughts that you have, and connect to something higher. That is the point of all this. What is a mantra? What is a shloka? It's basically, imagine this, that you have number of the prime minister of your country. And every time you try to call that number, it's unreachable. That's the first step. That's first time you start chanting stotras, slokas, and mantras. It's not reaching. Your mind is not connected. It's not reaching. And you keep doing it, suddenly it starts ringing. The phone starts ringing because you start feeling the connection. It starts ringing, but no one's picking up. And that picking up part, right? That is what connecting to the divine is. That might take 6 months, 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, maybe even an entire lifetime. Depends on your karmic alignment, depends on how much you move forward in your path, and how much, the most important part is how much does the deity want, how much does the Mother Divine want you to come close to her. It's truly her permission. You are not listening to this as a random thing. A lot of people watch this video for 2 minutes and run away. The people who actually sit and watch this, you are being motivated by Mother Divine, by Ma Bhagavati, to inquire and go deeper into this. I'm just a source, right? Only reason I'm doing this is exactly that, to shine a tiny light into this massive galaxy of Ma. So the reason you're sitting and watching is you have her blessing to sit and watch and listen to this. That's why you listen to people like me, right? So take this as a clue and start your journey. Now, the standard things, not focusing on this, but focusing on that, having this, that, those are all part of it. Imagine that you're cooking a food or cooking a cake. Everything has a process. If first few days, first few months, you will not get it right. All it takes is one good day of dhyanam to upset the 10-15 days of monotonous manual things that you do, manual japas that you do. One day. And that one day, consider that 1:10. Every 10 day, you'll get 1 day that is extremely good. The next 10 day, every next 20 day, you'll get 1 day. Keep expectations. Keep it as simple as possible. Keep your expectations right for this. Don't try to jump into 10 different things. Somebody asks, can you do Lalita Sahasranam and so on? Yes, you can do all of that stuff. Now, the other part of that is, there is something called mantra diksha that you get from a Siddha Guru, if you're lucky to find a good Guru. And there's something also called a mantra upadesham, basically an advice or suggestion to do something, like anybody, right? Any question anybody has. But to give an advice or suggestion to somebody, you need to be doing, or you should have gone through the same things to give people the right advice. So that is mantra upadesham. So the three things that I've mentioned in the last video, the reason I mentioned that is that those are the exact slokas or mantras. I have slokas that I've used for my own practice, and it is already coming charged. It has a certain level of charge to it, because when somebody is giving you mantra upadesh, and if they're genuine about it, these are the deeper parts of mantra sadhanas and tantra. They should be doing the practice themselves and giving it to you. That's when a sloka or a mantra becomes siddha or partly active. The reason I gave you all those three is that I have worked on it. I'm still using and working on those mantras and slokas. And I'm giving it to you because it's sort of half charged. Now it's up to you to fully charge it and use it to yourself. That's what mantra upatesham is. And that's what Guru Diksha is in its essence. Okay? It just means that someone's giving you something they already have, something they already charged, and then it's your job to move forward and charge it. Okay? That's up to you. No guru can make your mantra siddh or activate anything for you. It is a path you have to walk. Now, Ma Bhagavati, Ma Kali, there's so many layers to that. I don't even know where to begin and what to explain. Understand this. All of the biggest, oldest temples of Ma Kali, Ma Bhagavati are always near a water body or on top of a hill or far away from civilization. Why is that? She wants you to walk through the process. She wants you to reach out to her, and when you genuinely reach out to her, physically and mentally, she responds. And her response is up to her how she want to respond. But you will know. That's why I said in the first video, Shakti Upasana is extremely powerful in today's world. And if you're a person who is wanting to have, who has a lot of problems in his life, whatever kind of problem it is, and you want strength, Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Shakti Rupena Sanstita. She is the power. She will give you the power. She will give you the mental strength and physical strength. And if you're a shy person, you're introvert, you have confusion in your life, again, she's a source of that power. She's a source of power for everything that you need, mental and physical. And from that comes fearlessness. From that comes vivekam, the knowledge, the wisdom to do right and wrong. And from that comes the idea of dispassion. That is basically what devotion is. It is not as complex as it has been put across, right? Everyone's telling you this is a way to bake the cake or do this, but there's very simple way to look at it. We all have to figure out our path. We all have to figure out our path and the mode that we connect to Ma. That's our job. For that, we need to test so many different things. So don't try to keep it as simple as possible and as relevant possible and as consistent as possible. You need to first, so somebody asked that they had this feeling connection to Ma Kali and Ma Durga and so on. A lot of that can be motivated by things we watch. That's okay. You will not get an intense desire to chant certain mantras and slokas unless she wills it. Because a lot of people are hearing this stuff. I mean, there are different channels and videos and audios and so on. How many actually make it a practice? To make something a practice, you have to have her blessing. Okay? Her blessing is the first thing. So it's a good thing many of you have it. Don't get into Mahavidya sadhanas and all those stuff. Just keep it as simple as possible. Those 3 stotras, if you feel that's a good way to go about it, 30 minutes a day, 40 minutes a day, practice on them as a beginning for this Navaratri. It's happening in 2 days. And move forward with it. You will have bad days. You will not feel like, it's just like everything else in life. It's going to work, taking a test, going to gym, cooking, whatever, right? It's exactly the same. In the beginning is going to be rough. But as your sincerity develops over time, you will do it good. This is why I said 100 people who listen to it, 5 might actually try, and 1 or 2 might actually take this path on a serious level and move forward. Because it's all karmic alignment and her wish. It's all her wish. You listening to this is her wish. Me recording this is her wish. It's not my wish. I'm not doing this for anything. So what else do I want to talk about? So yeah, I guess that's clear. And the other thing, this is a fundamental part of it. If you are even remotely into whatever I just said in the first video and now, it's actually a foundational tantra, induction to tantra, so to speak. Okay, foundational, very, very foundational. So understand that in compared to the Vaishnava and the typical method of worship, Shakti sadhana, as the name suggests, it's about power. It's about strength. Okay, it's about strength. And you have to have a certain level of stubbornness, certain level of mental tenacity, and a certain level of, you know what, I will see what happens when it happens. That sort of attitude has to be there. At least a certain level of stubbornness. I'm not getting this right today, but I'm still going to finish it. And then tomorrow I'll take this up again. I'll do this again. I'll do this again. Never giving up attitude. Because at the end of the day, she is a warrior. Whether that's Ma Kali, Ma Durga, any of her forms. She is a warrior. The warrior among warriors. Adya Kali, Maha Kali, Ma Durga. They're not soft deities to just placate to everything. They don't work like that. And they are unbound. They are uncontrollable. Their energies exist everywhere but nowhere. So you have to embody that energy when you do these things. You cannot be, it's like Swami Vivekananda said that the biggest sin someone can do is to consider themselves as weak. The biggest sin someone can do is to consider themselves weak. And that's exactly what Shakti sadhana is. It is not a soft path. It is not an easy path. If few of you have the karmic alignment and mass blessing, you will start going forward. And there might be problems, new problems in your life. So many problems might happen in your life, very serious problems. But at no point would you like, you know what, I am not stopping, I'm moving forward. That's a warrior's attitude. Never giving up, tenacity, and continue to do it. And if someone is doing that regularly, consistently, within a year and a half, 2 years time, you're going to go so much forward. You'll find your guru, do the right things, the right understanding of everything will come to you. There's so many things I can say, but it will sound unrealistic to a lot of beginners. Do not listen too much online and do not think this and that. Keep it as simple as possible. The 3 stotras as I mentioned, okay? Do those stotras. The reason you want to do those stotras, it is slightly charged. Okay, it's a mantra upatesham I'm giving to curious minds, and then you pick it up and then you use it as your weapon. Go into the practice as a warrior. Okay, not as someone who's begging for something. Which is why I said do not ask her anything. She doesn't like that kind of stuff. Although she's your mother, but you still need to establish a connection with Ma. Yes, she's your mother, she wants the best for you. But there is an establishment. What is the relationship you're setting up? It's important. Some of you will understand what I'm saying. Some of you will naturally have it. Some of you will not have it. It's up to you to test and see what works, what doesn't work. Where do you stand in all of this? And Navratri is a beautiful time to do this because Ma's energy is very, very, very strong during these 9-10 days. This is a beautiful time to try and connect. There is no better time in the year than Navratris. So go ahead and do the practice. Keep it as simple as possible. Put your skepticism and doubts on the side. Don't overdo it, overtest it, overthink. Go forward. Go forward with the practice. Start the practice. You have to start somewhere. Let this be the start. And what better time than Navratri? All right? Okay. Anyway, so hope that helps. Jai Kal Bhairav, Jai Ma Kali.